Hey guys, it is day number 21 of 42 days of online business, and we are officially halfway through. I actually just got back from the gym, and I thought I would jump on with my sweaty tank here. It says unfuckwithable. And this is from my friend Taylor at shethrivesblog.com. Shethrivesblog.com. And I think it was really cool, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Second thing, we're going to be talking about how to know what your specific messages are and what to kind of start your business around. I'm just having my post-workout protein shake because people always ask me, despite what it looks like on social media, I actually do eat very healthy. You probably see me drinking wine, eating cheese and stuff like that. Of course, I do that obviously as part of Moderation 365, but that's maybe like 10 to 15% of the way that I eat. And the majority of the time I eat the same stuff every day, which is why I actually don't share those things online. If you're following on Instagram at Moderation 365, you maybe see a few extra things, but for the most part, I eat things like protein shakes, protein bars, I get salads from Whole Foods, I get takeout salads, I get takeout protein and vegetables. I don't cook at all. I haven't cooked in 5 or 6 years. And when I say I don't cook, I mean, I don't, actually turn my stove on ever. I'll use the microwave here and there, or I'll use my Vitamix or things like that. But for the most part, I eat really well. So, and then 10 to 15% of the time, it's wine, cheese, meats, stuff like that. So today, I wanted to talk about how to know if you do want to start an online business, what exactly to talk about. So this is actually an exact verbatim question that I got from someone in the survey that I sent out about Action Academy. If you have not joined us for Action Academy, you can do that at any time. We're talking about this stuff every single week, and a whole bunch of other education that's coming through there. So we have a really great group on Facebook of people taking a ton of action, which is cool. But today I want to talk about what are the things that matter when you want to start your business, right? So 3 things. Because it's important to know that if you don't have a solution for something that people need, you don't have a business, right? So our business is, even if it's just an online business, which means we're either trading education or information or coaching services, those things need to be to provide a solution for something that people are struggling with. So it's important to think about, do I have something that people need? So if it's an online course, if it's an info product, when I say info products, it's something that when people get access to it, it's a digital product, and someone is giving me a ton of angry faces, does not like my shirt maybe. I don't know, just isn't into it. But anyway, so number 1, if you guys don't have a solution for something that people need, so one of the first things that I have my girls do, especially in Action Academy and Best of You, is start to ask people what they're struggling with. So especially if you're professional, you might have the curse of knowledge. So for you, you don't really have to worry about what foods are proteins or nighttime eating or how to snack or anything like that, or how to get over snacking. Like, go back to square one. What are people struggling with? And start asking people. You can ask your clients at the gym. You can ask people, your friends and family. You can reach out to people on social media and ask them what they are struggling with. And when you get those answers, those are real problems that if you can provide a solution, that you are starting to have a business. So to me, this is, what's a solution that people need? So here's the thing. Sometimes if you do quote market research is just a really fancy way of saying like asking people what they need. So if you do market research, sometimes people are like, I struggle with time management and I struggle with motivation. And sometimes we don't want to talk about that. We're kind of like, oh, do I really want to create a program on how to manage time? Like, that kind of seems kind of boring. Totally, and I get that. So that's why we have these 2 other things that are important. So number 1 is people are legitimately struggling with time and motivation, right? Those are 2 things that we kind of know a lot of people are struggling with. So how can we then take 2 things to help create a solution for that? So number 1 is, what am I the best at? Like, what's my area of expertise? What do I get compliments from? So the first thing is solution. The second thing is, what am I the best at? What's my expertise in? And what do people say that I'm really good at? So you can ask your in-person clients, like, hey, why do you like training with me? Or, what are the things that you like about our training session together? How do I make you feel? I mean, and you can even preface it with, I know this sounds like super egotistical, but like, for real, what is the reason that you have liked training with me all these years? And then if they say like, you just make me feel really not judged, or you're so patient with me, or, you know, you always have the best workouts, or I always never feel bored when I'm with you, or whatever it is, ask yourself, am I truly an expert in this? And if you're not, go out and get more expertise in that. So a lot of times people think, oh, I'm only qualified if I'm an expert, or if I have credentials and certifications and degrees. Maybe, but there's other ways that you can become an expert too, through your experiences, through, you know, through your stories. If you have kind of overcome adrenal fatigue, or you've overcome something in your own personal life, maybe you've overcome your ED or binge eating or yo-yo dieting, and your experience is real and shareable. And so number one is, what's a solution? And you can do that by market research. Number two is, what am I the best at? What do people give me compliments for? What do people say I'm really good at? And then the third is, what am I excited about, right? What am I excited about? What is the thing that I want to talk about? If I was at a cocktail party and, you know, someone asked me what I did, and I was like, oh, I have a, you know, online fitness company. Because remember, we act as if. So even if you're like an accountant, but you want to move into online fitness, you're like, I own an online fitness company. So when someone says that, they're like, oh, that's cool. Tell me about that. What do you do? And you say, I help people do XYZ, or I teach people how to XYZ. And so what is that thing? What is the thing that you're so passionate about that like gets you super fired up? If you are at your, I don't know, maybe if you're in the States, you have Thanksgiving coming up and you're with your family, and you see your uncle and he's like, oh, I'm doing, you know, the cookie diet or whatever. And you're like, I just need for someone to help this situation, right? So what is it that you're pumped about? And maybe your charge is like, I want to make sure that no one does these strict, crazy plans ever again. What is the thing that you're pumped about? So number one is, we have to have a solution for a legitimate struggle that people are having. So I'll give you an example. So I love talking about mindset. You guys know that I have a couple courses called the Mindset Makeover course, and a lot of it is around relationships and things like that. And I love talking about mindset, but like no one comes to me and is like, hey, Jill, I think I'm having a problem with my mindset. If they do, it's probably because I taught them that mindset is important. Does that make sense? And so take it in. But I know that people are struggling with things like self-doubt and feelings of not good enough, and, you know, feeling guilty and having shame and not liking themselves, or criticizing their body, right? So even though they're not saying mindset, I know that that whole host of issues is around, it's a mindset issue. Yeah, I mean, partly it's a physical issue, logistical issue, but a lot of it comes down to, how do I think about myself? And so when you get there, then I'm like, okay, this struggle is around mindset, but how do I talk about it in a way that people get it? So I don't say something like, you know, let me help you with your mindset. I'm going to say, hey, I work with a lot of women who feel a lot of guilt when they eat something bad, or they feel like they just hate when they can't fit into their clothes, or they beat themselves up when they don't eat perfectly. Now I'm speaking the language of the person, and they're hooked in. I don't say like, I talk to a lot of women who struggle with their mindset. I mean, yeah, maybe once I've taught them that, but for the most part, you have to speak the language of your client. And then I go, okay, what am I the best at? What is, you know, what do I get compliments for? A lot of times people tell me, so I'm like, okay, the problem is around body image. That's the problem. Now, how can I create a solution for that? So I'm like, okay, what am I the best at? What do I get compliments for? You know, people a lot of times will say they don't feel judged by me, or they feel accepted, or they feel normal, or they feel seen. They don't feel judged. They feel, you know, that like their normal self would be accepted. So for me, maybe one of the things that I'm good at is helping people with self-compassion, and like being just like okay with who they are, and really like not only being okay with who they are, but like showing up powerfully as they are and authentically. And I know a lot of these words are kind of thrown around. I feel like it's good because I feel like so many people are talking about authenticity and vulnerability and transparency. I feel like that was one of the things that JillFit was founded on, like one of the kind of main things that we started talking about, especially when the first Mindset Makeover came out in 2012. And I'm really proud to be part of that discussion. And so I feel like that's a solution that I have. And then what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about helping women feel powerful, whether that's through their physique, whether that's through the gym, whether that's through having amazing relationships, whether that's like self-actualization and personal development, whether that's through starting an online business. And so I'm like, okay, for me, I can create my business, or I can even just create a product around body image, or not feeling feelings of guilt and shame and success and those kind of things. So, and then I have the solutions for that. And I have experiences, right? So that's part of my expertise too. It's not just my credentials and the things that people tell me that help them, but also my own experience with that. I had a lot of guilt and shame and remorse and self-disgust and yo-yo dieting and all of this stuff when I was competing. And so you can talk about your story, and that's a service too. And so 3 things, just to reiterate. Number 1, what is a problem that people are struggling with, an actual problem, not something that I think is a problem, something people have actually told me is a problem, and what can be that solution. Number 2 is, what am I good at? What do people tell me that I'm really good at? What do they compliment me on? And then, am I an expert in that thing, either through credentials or through experience? And the third thing is, what am I pumped about? What is the thing that just gets me super fired up? If someone asked me, I would just go off about it. So that's the third thing, is it has to be that cocktail party scenario, that Thanksgiving table scenario. What's the thing that gets you charged up? And then you take all of that information and you go, how can I take my expertise and what I'm excited about and create a solution for something I know people are struggling with? I know that sounds super simple. Of course, we go into this in Best of You very much in depth, but I thought I would share some ways that I go about it. So do a little intake. Take out a piece of paper, do a little intake, write this stuff down, and then see how it goes for you. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my shake, which I have to drink before I start my calls for the day, but I wanted to say hi to you guys, and hopefully you're having a great week. Hopefully it's helpful for you. If it was, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. Lord knows we had plenty of mad faces. That's okay. But if you want to give me a thumbs up or a like, that would be so cool too. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Bye.